It is a moderate carb day. We got our handy dandy rice cooker out. We're going to do 100 grams uncooked rice for our moderate carb day today. It's just under a cup. Went grocery shopping last night. Now that I'm going to be changing my work shifts on Saturdays to the mornings, instead of closing in the evenings, I'll be midday shift. So that way in the evenings afterwards, I can go to Costco and I might be able to get all my meal prep cooked tonight and actually have a real Sunday to myself. So that'll be kind of cool. We'll see. All right, so we got 100 grams of rice. It's always just, I make a joke just because I'm half Filipino. So I got like my yellow card. Rinse off your rice. Always rinse a little bit of that starch off, whatever it might be from the processing and manufacturing process. And then there is usually a ratio you want to put with water and rice. It's usually for every cup, you want to put anywhere from 1 3/4 to 2 cups of water. What usually you find the seasoned veteran do is they'll fill it up with water and they'll use their first knuckle to measure their water level. So you're going to level the rice in the bottom. And that's why I'm shaking it. And basically what I want to do is I want to get most of the first half of this knuckle submerged. I want to get the water just past this fingernail. I find that it works pretty universally for everyone. My mom is like 4'11", and measuring off of her first knuckle works just as good as mine. I'm almost a foot taller than her. So if you put too much water, you'll know because it spills out of the rice cooker. It'll boil. It'll pick up the extra starch from the water, and then it starts to boil out of the container. So it's always better to make slightly dry rice than it is to make wet. If you're eating it fresh, that's the best. But if you keep it and store it, wet rice does not store as long because of all that extra moisture. It's easier to grow bacteria and fungus, mold. So we're going to get the omelets prepped. I got to cook 2 omelets this morning. I got to cook some oats. We're going to eat 2 meals before working out. So my meal 2 will now be my pre-training meal. So I'm going to move where my macros are, and you'll see that in the description. I always edit those. And then tonight, instead of 100 grams of carbs from French toast, we're going to do our standard steak dinner. So I'm going to have an 8-ounce filet. I have those thawing out in the fridge, and I'll show you guys how I cook those on the grill. But that's what you want to look forward to. I'm doing really good about time stamping everything. So if you just want to skip to different chapters, I do my best to where you don't actually have to watch the whole video to figure out what you want to see. I put the workouts. I put sections to where you can even literally just watch me put only the vegetables in the salad. So I hope you all enjoy. I'm actually getting more than 1 view, and I know that's usually me watching it back. So here we go. Moderate carb day. It's the second moderate carb day. It's day 6 of the carb cycle. Today it's a Saturday, so that does mean I'm usually cooking my girlfriend's breakfast. So we're going to put 80 grams of oats in the microwave, ready to microwave. So 80 grams is a cup. I put 400 grams of water, and I let that go for 5 minutes. My girlfriend eats almost the same exact breakfast as I do. She doesn't do the oats, but she does 2-cup egg white omelet and 4.5 ounces of chicken. She does a little more cheese than I do, just because her diet allows it. So, a bit jealous. Her omelet always looks a bit better than mine, but that's okay. So we're going to put that 1.5 cups of egg whites into the pan. We're going to cook mine first. She's not here yet, so I'm going to get mine cooking, and then I can cook hers fresher. It's also because my omelet always, or my oats always take up space in the microwave, and it's better if I reheat mine and make hers more fresh, because ladies first. So we're going to put that cup egg whites in here. Okay, we got it at the right time. It didn't sizzle in the pan. I watched a Ronnie Coleman movie, as I love to watch those so much. And he was cooking his, and he had the pan blazing hot, so it was just seared right when he touched the pan. And he's constantly moving it. And you could see at the end how he had a shit ton of egg white just stuck to the pan. I'm not worried about losing a gram or two of protein, but what I'm looking at that as is just like, it's more cleanup, and I fucking hate cleaning eggs out of the pan. So I'm going to get everything else ready, and we're going to top the omelet next. So here we go. Okay, so took the egg off the heat just to make sure I didn't overcook it. So standard, we're going to sprinkle a little onion over the whole omelet. Just gives us some fiber, some texture, a little something to chew on. Got our 4.5 ounces of chicken. And then we got the egg white nice and perfectly cooked. So that way now all of my ingredients are going to bind to the egg white. You want to do it just as like a skin forms on the pan. So that way the ingredients don't cook through the skin and burn to the pan. You want just like a thin layer of protection between the ingredient and the bottom of the pan. So do that. We also got some scallions, or green onion is what I think they're also called. I got these for next week for my teriyaki bowls. I also switched my greens on it, so I had to move some calories around, and I'll outline those on my other video. I'm going to try to go over my diet, my thoughts, to try and like process what I'm doing. Just to, you know, have lots of videos and whatnot. So we're going to change the diet a little next week. I was undecided. I put it in my community post on whether I would leave the diet the same this week or if I'd push it for this next coming week. I think I'm coming to the decision to push it. You know, if I were like in a contest prep, we'd absolutely have to push it to make progress. And if we're just dieting for life, then, you know, there's not really a deadline. We can just move slower. I kind of want to push the pace a little bit. My deadline in my head is June. You know, I do want to make it there and see everything that I want to see happen. All right, so we got our, or I'll leave that. I'll put that on last. But I will put my 30 grams of Dijon on now. I like the ingredients all to just get kind of like warmed up and cohesive. So let's put that on there. And today we're going to get that flip right. We're going to get this fucking omelet flipped just right. I know we will. Okay, 30 grams, perfect. Garlic powder. Can never miss with the garlic powder, man. Salt. Just a pinch. My chicken's already naturally salted, and some of those ingredients already have some salt in them. I don't need to hold an excessive water weight. And then just a little dill. Goes a long way. All right, so we're going to put the cover on the pan, let everything melt and heat up a little bit, get the egg whites to cook through, and then we're going to get the next step of the egg white oats. Egg white oats, 80 grams, 400 grams of water for 5 minutes. Ooh. I got what's left in this container, the last 1/4 cup of egg white. We're going to beat it in with the whisk. And then the last step for the egg whites is to put in our flavoring. The last step for our omelet is to top it with tomato and flip it. And then it's breakfast time. But, you know, we got to wait on the lady first. So I'll put my omelet in the microwave so it can stay warm, and then we'll start on hers. And then we'll catch up once all the food is plated. First off, look how beautiful that is. And everything's looking good, so I think it's time for the flip. And what we learned from yesterday's mistake. Get that damn spatula all the way under there. And I think this is where the issue lies. I can't seem to get the spatula under there. Maybe a silicone one will work better. Or two spatulas. the texture of the omelet just feels really flimsy. So we're going to roll it over. Yeah, it just keeps tearing. That's fucking annoying. Like that. Oh my God, that makes me so fucking angry. Either way, we got another 8 out of 10 omelet. I'm ready to burn down a village. That's some bullshit. All right. Next are the oat toppings and should be ready to eat, but I still got to. Okay, so we got the second omelet going. And we're just going to finish off these oats. So 2 teaspoons espresso powder, 14 grams of cocoa powder, and since we got new flavors and extracts yesterday, I believe I'm going to put some almond extract in here. So the idea is if I can combine almond extract with chocolate, I should get one of my favorite cake flavors, and that's chocolate amaretto. So I'm going to just splash a little bit more than a quarter teaspoon. You don't want too much, but chocolate and almond extract are a legendary combo. Just a heads up. And we can put a little imitation butter. My only issue with this particular container, or this particular container, it leaks all over itself. So you gotta be real careful with that one. And then lastly, we got 12 grams of Splenda. I'm trying to measure it now rather than eyeball it in case I have a tendency to get heavy-handed. I don't want to accidentally add too much and start giving myself like issues. So I'm going to just start paying attention to how much of it I use from now on. All right, so we got those ingredients. Whisk it in, and the heat should push some of the almond extract into the air. You can just smell it. Oh, it smells amazing. But if you haven't had a chocolate amaretto cake, do yourself a favor and make it, or have someone make it, or buy it. And don't miss out on the chocolate shavings on the outside. That is like the best part. It just adds that little crisp texture. And that is beautiful. It smells amazing. All right, so breakfast's all ready, and we'll catch up once it's all plated. So we got the 2-cup egg white omelet with 4.5 ounces of chicken. Got my cup of oats with a 1/4 cup of egg whites, and then I got my 1 3/4 egg white omelet with 4.5 ounces of chicken, and then the featured Diet Coke, no caffeine drink. So this is the most complex part of my meal prep for the week, is my moderate carb days, because I have 2 rice and chicken bowls, and then I also have a salad bowl. So I need to get the onions mostly in the pan here. I need to get these to start caramelizing and cooking down a little bit, and I don't want to get too hot, otherwise they'll get burned to the pan like they did earlier this week. We got some green onions to add this time, and then also we got to split the bell pepper and poblanos up amongst the heat and the salad dressing. So I'm going to get everything situated and divided and catch back up. All right, so we diced up the poblano, bell pepper, onion, and then put some scallions or green onions in there. Threw a splash of water in the pan. We're going to cover it on low or high medium heat. It's a number 4, and it's going to steam. And in that time, we're going to make our dressing. We're going to split up the remaining bell pepper, poblano, rotel tomato, and do our basic salad dressing combination, and put that off to the side as well. And we're going to chop up one of our salad romaine and put that in a bowl, and just, you get the gist. We're going to start getting things put together. All right, so the rice is cooked. We got 346 grams of white rice. We're going to split this up evenly so that it's technically 50 grams of uncooked rice per bowl. So 173 is what needs to be left in this bowl here. And then we're going to top our bowls. Almost there. Come on, baby. It's really not necessary to go down to the gram by that much if you already know how much you can eat for the whole day, but it's just fun taking in those extra details. We got our salad. Let's see if that's in the frame. We got our salad with bell pepper and poblano already set up. I have what's left of the onions from today in this tiny bowl, and this is where we're going to put our salad dressing stuff in. So let me just spread that rice around the bottom. All right. So this will be the last week I eat black beans. Next week I will be doing bok choy and just corn. Bok choy, I've said before, is closely related to the spinach plant. They're very common. They're common like somewhere between cabbage and that. So I need 61 grams of black beans. I was going to put water chestnuts in, which are like an oriental sort of thing. But it's best you don't get them at your local grocer. If you're getting specialty foods like those, they're always going to cost more. Like a can that was 2 servings, and I did the math. I'd basically use a whole can just for one bowl. That can would have cost me almost $2. Guarantee if I go to the Korean market this weekend, I could find those same water chestnuts for like 80 cents, just like you would with like corn or something. But water chestnut has like a very hearty texture. It's got a bit of a crunch to it, but like more of a bite, kind of like the way carrots are, where you can bite into a carrot. All right, so we got 61 grams in 2 of our rice bowls, and then we need 61 grams in our dressing. Because I want to get everything done all at once, it's kind of hard to like timestamp this section, so I'm just going to put it titled as like dressing and bowl toppings. I don't know. I'm going to have to make something up creative, make it work. And then 62 grams of corn in every dish. But this is also why you read the description, because then you could just skip past this shit. So, I just like recording it just because I have fun making videos. Like I've made videos since I was a little kid. I've actually had this channel for a really long time. I think my first upload is in like 2000 something, but I actually deleted all those videos. They're just, they're embarrassing to watch. But I'll give you guys a treasure hunt. There is a video somewhere in the depths of YouTube where you will find my adolescent self with ketchup on my titties. No joke. Like, I am not shitting you. Here's a video of little Brennan with ketchup on his titties. I think it's pretty iconic. All right, so I need to grab some more corn. I'll be right back. All right, back with the corn. Got another 62 grams to add to this bowl. Not 69. Ha ha ha. 1 more gram. Boom! Being that accurate is so unnecessary, but I have a lot of fun with it. All right, so we got our rice with our corn and beans for our dish. The veggies are done. Those are cooked till they're translucent, and that's when I know they're ready to go. And now we're going to finish making the salad dressing. All right, so the salad dressing. We got like a quarter of an onion, 61 grams of black beans, 62 grams of corn. We're going to put like 67 grams of Rotel tomato, diced. And I'll just save some of this for tomorrow or whatever. 67 grams of Rotel tomato. Squeeze of lime. You always got to put a little lime in your food if you want it to taste, you know, spicy. And then I was correct this week on confirming the cause of my salads just not having that pizzazz flavor they usually have. And I'd been saying before that I was struggling with figuring out the source of my spice issues. I knew I was touching something spicy throughout the week. And if I touched my face during the day, I mean, I washed my hands, but I guess it was under my nails or something. It got on my skin around my eyes, which is like your most sensitive areas. And my eyes were on fire for like a solid, probably 10 or 15 minutes, which felt like a lifetime at that moment. Cumin powder. And it sucked ass. So I took out my chipotle pepper thinking that was the issue. It wasn't, because, you know, I think this is like immediately spicy. 5 grams of Dijon. Once again, all this shit's in the description. You don't really need to even watch any of this. This is just you want to hear me talk. It was the Poblano. The Poblanos have a little bit of capsaicin in them, I guess. So we're going to take some of the adobo sauce from this chipotle pepper adobo canned mixture. I think what I'm going to do in the future is just process this in my food processor on the weekends and then put it in another container so I don't have to chop up the tomato or the pepper anymore. And the last thing is all the spices are in, all the veggie type ingredients are in, is our 30 grams of sour cream. It's light sour cream so I can save some calories but still get that texture. We're going to mix it up and then top our salad with it. Every meal gets 6 ounces of chicken today, so they're a little bit more filling. And then I'll catch back up once I have my chicken bowls plated and I put some peaches in a Tupperware so you guys can just see what my meals 2, 3, and 4 look like for today. All right, so we got our veggies that are translucent. We put a little ginger powder or ginger paste in here with some water so it would help steam the vegetables, and I folded it back into itself to distribute it. A little garlic powder, a pinch of salt. The veggies, once again, that we have in here are bell pepper, poblano, onion, and green onion, or scallion is what some people call it. I'm not too worried about perfectly even distribution of these in the bowls. I'm just going to eyeball it. As long as it all gets eaten by the end of the day, the calories are correct, and that's what matters. And I make sure I log every fucking detail. If you log every detail, like your veggies, and you realize very quickly, at least in my case, I eat like 500 or 600 calories in vegetables a day. And if I didn't log those, I could be missing out on, like, if I didn't want to eat the veggies anymore, I could replace it with other food. I was able to figure out how I could replace black beans with bok choy and more corn, which technically increased the volume of my food. So really knowing where all of your calories come from on a diet, especially like when you're cutting, huge advantage. So what we're going to do now is 6 ounces of chicken per meal for these two and for the salad bowl. And then we're going to put 32 grams of soy sauce and 11 grams of barbecue sauce per bowl. And I'll catch back up once those are done. And I have 132 grams of peaches to eat today, and I'll put that in a little Tupperware. For visual representation purposes, I'll try and take photos and start adding those to the videos, adding everything I can, but 132 grams of peach pie filling with our chicken bowl, and I added the sweetened barbecue sauce and the soy sauce. We have that same meal for post-workout, just no peaches. And then finally, our afternoon meal will be chicken with our chipotle dressing salad. There is, in between these two meals, a 50-gram carb Intra workout shake that I drink from Nutrabio. It's a cyclic dextrin or something. It's supposed to be better for your stomach. I don't really have digestive issues, but it's something that, it's good to be aware of. Next week, I'm going to be adding some health supplements just because I've been inspired to do it. And tonight we'll catch up with our new dinner meal. Well, not our new, but new to you guys. The steak dinner that I have to replace my high carb dinner meal. So you can see we start high carb right before our workout, carbs during the workout, carbs after, and then we slowly taper the carbohydrates out on a moderate carb day. We're trying to keep our energy, our fuel source closest to our highest level of activity during the day rather than just spread out, because you don't need carbs way later in the day. And the only reason why I do carbs before bed is to help with sleep. I'm able to fit the calories in, and it's also technically my post-workout meal because later or earlier in the week, I train very late at night. Today I'm training before 2 p.m. I'll be done at 2 p.m. So I don't need the extra carbohydrates as the day carries on this weekend. 239 today. We'll see if we're 238.8 tomorrow, but I tend to gain weight after leg days from all the swelling. But we'll see. See you later. If you haven't seasoned a steak before, you're going to learn today. So we got the grill heating up to 275. We're going to use a temperature probe in order to make sure that we're cooking it to the correct internal temp. I'm going to get it up to 100 degrees internal temp. And then once it's at 100 degrees, I'll put it over an open flame and cook it on each side until it's about 115, 120, and then take it off the grill. And that's where I will, let it rest and then cut into it. So these are 2 8-ounce fillets, salt, pepper, garlic. That's all you ever need. Now the meat is cut really thick, so you can season this really well. Don't be afraid with the salt. I think the issue most people have is not using enough salt on thick cuts. If you're doing a really thin, like 1/2 inch steak, then in that case, be ginger with it. But a fillet is thick, generally the way they're cut, and you're going to want to make sure that the salt is, well spread out with the meat. So it's okay if you over season and you get it all over the cutting board, because we're just going to roll the sides all over it. So we're going to season the cutting board. You'll throw some extra salt on the sides. It's like we're doing a little seance here or something. And then, of course, black pepper. You can do fresh. I'm actually just going to do it already cracked just because the mic picks up a lot of the noise. And it's a little annoying. Some people don't like pepper. Some people do. I, for one, really like pepper. And in Texas, I think pepper is a pretty standard thing in barbecue here. If you get a Texas style burger, you're always going to taste the pepper. So we're going to pat the seasoning in just so it sticks a little better. And then we're going to roll the sides over the seasoning and make sure we pick up all that extra seasoning. Generally, it's best if you season up to 24 hours in advance. It allows the steak to absorb that salt and get the salt to penetrate, so it's more evenly salted meat. I mean, back in the day, they used to preserve steaks and meats long term by, aging them in salt. So the meat would penetrate into it, or the salt would penetrate into the meat and really cure the flavor. Obviously, if you leave it in a large amount of salt for a long period of time, it'll dry it out. That's not what we're trying to do. But the salt will concentrate the flavors of the meats. So these were thawed out, and that's why they're a little opaque or a little like brownish color. Totally normal. Just a little oxidization. But I had them frozen because I bought a 4-pack last weekend, and now they're thawed out. So the grill is preheating right now to 275. I'll stick the temperature probe into the thickest part of the meat. And I'll actually use the probe as a skewer to hold this extra little hunk on so it doesn't fall apart. Should take 15 to 20 minutes. I'm just going to stay close to the grill and monitor the probe temp. Like I said, once it gets to 100 degrees is when I'll take it off of the indirect heat and I'll put it over the direct flame. And I'll let it finish until it gets to the right internal temp. You always want to take it, so if 125 is your medium rare, your temperature of your steak internal is always going to go up about 7-8 degrees. So I take it off just prior to that. I take it off at like 115-ish, and it'll carry over cook, as you call it, up to 123, 125, and it should be just right. And with fillets, you should always leave it a little rare. So last thing is to just put it on the grill. All right, so we plugged in the probes. We got probe 1 and probe 2. I had to figure out which steak they're going to so that I know that they're going in the right one. I'm monitoring the right steak and moving the right steak. And then I'm basically measuring where halfway into the steak is. And I squeeze with my fingertip, and then I just shove it through right into the middle. All right, so we're going to put these on the cooler spot on the grill that we know. I've been grilling on this for a few weeks now to a month, so I know where my cool spots are. And the reason why I want them in those cool spots is that they're not going to receive any excess indirect heat. And by doing that, they can take their time getting up to temp. If we're cooking above 200 degrees, we're at the right temperature to actually break down the collagen and the fats in the meat tissue, so it'll make it more tender. So we're going to let it slowly rise up to temp, and then we'll put it over the direct heat in the middle where the foil, we can move the broiler shield and get the flame going. So we're just going to let these slowly relax and break down those meat fibers, and then we'll finish them off. All right, so we got the steaks up to 100 degrees internal temp, pulled them off the grill, and right now we can see the flames popping up. So we're going to close that. And we let the grill get up to 450 and get those grill grates nice and hot so you can see the grill marks that we're getting down on them now. And we're just letting them finish cooking, getting that pretty sear, finishing them off, and pulling them off at about 120 degrees and letting them temperature rise naturally to 125 where it should hit medium rare. We're going to put them in the Tupperware and let them cool, and then we'll cut into them and have dinner. All right, steak has rested. Let's take a look. Very, very tender, and the color is perfect. Little pink, just right. If I can get that thing, oh, there we go. That is perfection. What a great steak. All right, well, we're going to cut in and enjoy. Happy episode. Good night.